Back once again for the renegade master. 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 Back once again for the renegade master.
Hello my renegades and welcome back. And what are we getting into? We are now on Love is Blind season 8. We are now on episode 10 and it's called Oh Spare Me. Okay, so we are now getting back into the weirtherals and wiferals of Lauren and Dave. I nearly forgot his name, nearly forgot his name because it's so insignificant, I should say. I think for me, the whole of these episodes literally just kind of centered around the manufactured drama that was happening between Lauren and Dave, to be honest with you. It was just, it was getting tiresome at points and it was literally getting on my nerves. But before we get into this episode, as I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button so we know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share and do all the good things that you do because I continue to be on the road to 1K. So though, as we get into this episode, we see Lauren by herself in the apartment basically, and she's very frustrated because she wants to figure these things out with Dave, and Dave doesn't want to do that. He just ups and leaves her every single time, like he's running for the wind, he's running for the fucking gold. It's Dave, yeah. He just cuts out because he doesn't want to have to deal with these conversations, yeah. At the end of the day, for me, Dave does not have a respectful bone in his body. Dave don't respect Lauren or any relationship that they're trying to build with each other because he, as I said, he's continually got this narrative playing in his head and that's what he's going to stick with because he doesn't necessarily like Lauren. He really doesn't. So he says that he went to stay with his friends. Yeah, when he does come back in, and I'm like, girl, seriously, it's time to let this dude go. Like, Dave was showing throughout these episodes that he didn't want Lauren at all, even from the first meet, but he didn't know how to extricate himself from that situation without looking like a total prick on TV. Not that this makes him look any better, to be honest with you. It was just an excuse I think he was using to extricate himself from that relationship. Dave didn't want to get married. He didn't. He didn't want to get married. And even if he did like Lauren, he didn't want to get married to Lauren. He didn't want to get married at that point. So I think Dave would have preferred just to be dating and doing the old fandango if that's what they were doing, rather than having this pressure of getting married. Because he's saying it's the pressure points of all his family and his friends that are literally piling on him and piling on him and piling on him. This man ain't defending Lauren in any way, shape or form. So any words that he keeps saying that he does, he's full of shit. So apparently Dave went to his apartment and then texted Lauren at 3 a.m, yeah, to say that hopefully they can figure things out in the morning. And I thought at this point, if Lauren is daft enough to stay with this man when he's giving her nothing, yeah, I don't know what else to tell you. I remember so many episodes before that I told you Lauren will be a stage 4 clinger and she will cling to this man come hell or high water just because she wants to say she's in love with this man, she wants this man. She's not going to let him go because she wants to make it work, even though she can see that this man has no fucking respect for her in the slightest. At the end of the day, she wants to hold on to him, she wants to hold out for marriage. I'm just like, it's time to just release that, say woosa and step away because it ain't going to get any better for them at all. This man has made this woman cry since they moved in together. It's not a healthy relationship. Dave, as I've already said, is not ready for marriage. He's showing this in his actions. It's all about him and less about Lauren and his impact on Lauren at the end of the day. Lauren is second in terms of importance. Well, not even second. She's literally at the pile, at the bottom of the dung heap when it comes to his considerations, because he's got his sister and his friends and anybody else before that at the end of the day. Dave walks into the flat like nothing's happened. This man is absolutely ridiculous, yeah. So they have the conversation. So he basically talks about how he went and had drinks with his friends. He said that it was fun. And then he turns around after he said that it was fun, that it was hard to enjoy anything. This man really needs to realize exactly what it is that he's saying, because there's some bits where I think he says things with intention to intentionally hurt Lauren and to see her cry because he enjoys that shit. And I think he honestly does enjoy the shit that, you know, that he's doing in terms of stringing her along. But there's also times where I think he doesn't necessarily listen to what the fuck he is saying, because he will say one thing and then completely contradict himself in the next sentence. It's weird. So they don't really talk. It was awkward. They were literally ignoring the elephant in the room because Lauren was there steady concentrating. Oh, you went to bars. What bars did you go to? So we talked about how they were at Nolo's, and then he went to Basement Bar. And when it comes to the Basement Bar, apparently that's the bar where all the pod squad go. So the question at that point was, did Dave meet Molly? Because Molly was definitely at this bar as well. So Dave talked about how, like, you know, Molly was there and his friends were telling him that Molly was there. Did he want to be introduced? And he said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just like, how far are you literally going to take this? So Lauren talks to him about, like, you know, seeing her family and then wanting to see them, and that she was planning something with them. But then she prioritized the shit that's happening right now with his friends over meeting her family. So when that setup didn't happen, she'd literally dashed her family away to manage what was going on right now. So Dave has been literally AWOL. He's been absent without leave at the end of the day. And I don't know if Dave actually realizes that, you know, people will go back and watch this shit and you are not going to come up smelling of roses in terms of how you're treating this woman right about now. So it seems that Lauren's parents are aware of the situation that's happening between her and Dave. And now Dave is getting cold feet in meeting her parents. Yeah, because he doesn't want to be bombarded with any questions that they may have. So he's running away from that shit. And I'm like, at the end of the day, Lauren is still their child. You're treating their child like absolute freaking garbage, yeah? So at the end of the day, her parents are going to protect their child. So I just think that in that point in time, Dave knows he will not be able to dismiss Lauren's family the way he's dismissed Lauren's friends and Lauren herself at the end of the day. So you see Lauren literally contemplating everything, and she comes up with an answer on how this is going to work, because she essentially wants to be with Dave. So they sit there contemplating, well, what is it we are going to tell your parents and anybody else when we have those conversations? So they're literally practicing what it is that they're going to say to them. And it's like at this point that I think, you know what, Lauren is a lost soul, man. To keep trying with a man who continues to show he's not interested in it at all. I just, like, it's literally blowing my fucking mind, like, honestly. So then we see Monica and Joey go for a photo shoot by her sister, of all people. So basically, Monica's sister offered this engagement photo shoot, and I thought, oh, well, that won't be awkward at all, especially because Joey knows that her sister doesn't necessarily like her. Do you know what I mean? I thought that it was that was a weird gift to kind of offer, bearing in mind that you don't really like this guy, but the sister was using it as a way in which to apologize to Joey for her, like, view with him and trying to make amends, basically. So Monica, I'll give her props because she does bring it up and she does defend Joey when she's talking to her sister, and the fact that she raises that she was so angry at her sister for saying what she said about Joey to her, and she said she's able to have that conversation in front of her sister and in front of Joey. So I'll give her props for that at the end of the day, because not many people would do that. They would deal with that separately. Do you know what I mean? But it wasn't an awkward conversation. They had the conversation. They let bygones be bygones at that point. Don't know how much, like, you know, Monica's sister may have been doing that for the cameras or to appease her sister. But in terms of what she was saying was quite damning against Joey. So that would give me cause for concern as to whether, like, you know, she actually accepted the wrongdoing that she did do, or she was just doing it to placate her sister because she didn't want her sister to be upset with her at the end of the day. So you see Sarah and Ben. Ben is continuing to be ignorant in regards to what this woman shared on TikTok. He remains confused by it all. And I'm like, mate, Ben, he knows He knows. He does. He really does. So he's worried about how this is going to affect Sarah's view of him. Ben is still not telling the truth of it at the end of the day. And I'm just like, well, Sarah asked for the truth. That's all she asked for. And Ben is not giving her that truth at the end of the day. So Sarah's got to be the one to decide whether she wants to continue this shit with this man at the end of the day. I don't think she should. I really don't think she should. Because Ben ain't the one. He really is not the one. So it looks like Sarah has listened to Ben. And she's given the impression that she will let this situation go at this moment in time. Because at the end of the day, she's going with his explanation that it was 4 years ago. And Ben is straight on that, mentioning how it was such an insignificant moment in his history. I'm just like, yeah, because you really don't want Sarah to be looking too closely into what it is that this woman is saying, because more than likely what the woman has said is probably the freaking truth, that Ben was a horrible, rotted person. Do you know what I mean? When she knew him, which weren't that long ago. But hey ho, we shall carry on. So we see Devin and Virginia meeting Virginia's mum. Virginia's mum literally reminds me of Virginia. So I can see where Virginia gets her mannerisms from, where she gets her childlike voice from as well. But I'm gonna have to say, her mum asked some good ass questions. In that meeting. I ain't gonna lie. She was literally like, talking about life, goals, morals, values, all of that. Yeah, all of that. So her mum was asking about commitment and what it means to her and Devin. And they do have the answers, but my thing is can they honestly put that into practice? Because I'm going to be honest when I say I'm not getting much from them. Like, they will say all the right words to each other. They will have those little conversations with each other. But in other senses, I'm just not getting that much from them, right? I mean, it all sounds good when you're talking all these flowery stuff, but it's all about the actions for me at the end of the day. Virginia obviously did not like being called stubborn because her mum called her stubborn. She says she's opinionated, but she's not rigid in her opinions because she can change them in terms of what the other person is saying to her, and she's willing to listen. As I said, Mama had some good questions. I think this season, all the parents and the families, because they were so involved as well, some of them were so involved, they had some really good questions for the couples, which I found really, really refreshing, to be honest with you, because majority of the parents, I ain't gonna lie, especially from last year's one, seemed to gloss over some of the issues and took what was being said to them at face value and not really digging that much deeper into the situations with them, right? So it did make me laugh a little when Devin harped on about being vulnerable with Virginia and telling her things about him he'd never told many people. And I'm like, my guy, if you're talking about what you're talking about, yeah, with the substance abuse, you literally told that to Brittany before you even spoke about it to Virginia first and foremost. Do you know what I mean? And Brittany didn't judge him either at the end of the day. She actually breathed that life back into him, whereas Virginia didn't really say much. She didn't judge Devin, but she really didn't breathe into him either. So all this chatter just is just... As I said, with Devin, I'm just like, he's a talker. He's a talker, but doesn't show much action towards Virginia in terms of why Virginia should say yes to him at the end of the day. So he talks about how, like, Faith has pushed him towards doing what he's doing, and he's glad that he's got to be with Virginia. And I'm just, yeah, as I said with Devin, he's not it. That's all I'm gonna say. For me, he's not it for Virginia at the end of the day. I just there's just something about him that I just ain't getting the feel from at the end of the day. But overall, the dinner did go well with them. So then we go back to Lauren and Dave. They end up meeting Lauren's mum. Lauren's dad is not ready to come on camera, but he has willingly said that he will meet Dave separately in regards to being off camera, which I do believe did happen at the end of the day. So Dave talks about he's ready to have kids, not for any other reason but that it looks fun. And I'm just like, how is this man ready for marriage, ready for kids, but at the first inkling of trouble, all he does is cut and run? How is that going to work? He puts his friends first, he puts his sister first, and continually does that over and above the feelings of Lauren. Dave ain't ready for marriage, let alone having children at this moment in time. At the end of the day, Lauren has still not met his friends. Lauren has still not met his sister. Lauren has still not met this man's dad. Come on now. So within that conversation, you know that Dave is not very forthcoming when it comes to his family and them being on TV. He talks about how his dad might not be there because his dad travels a lot. So then Lauren's mum says, well, oh, are you okay with that? And then again, this is what I say, where he contradicts himself really regularly. And Dave says, no, he'll make it, when he knows full well that he is not going to allow Lauren or any of his family or friends to meet her. He's not going to do it. So when I say that, like, when Dave gives a little bit of the truth and then kind of pulls back when he realizes what it says, he contradicts himself, because I swear to God, this man will bend the truth to all which way he can do in order to try and make himself look good or paint himself as a victim, because Dave is very good at that, at painting himself as a victim and trying to look like it's as though Lauren is the issue when it's not. Dave is the motherfucking issue at the end of the day. So Dave talks about like his sister being a protective older sister, and I'm just kind of like, there's more to it than that, to be honest with you, because listening to what Dave has said, like, she believed he would end up with some girl that was in it for the wrong reasons and make him look bad. I'm like, this man is talking about Lauren like that because his sister believes that Lauren is like that, because in part Dave has made them, his friends and his family, believe that Lauren is this way. He's giving them that impression of her when that is so far from the truth, but he won't allow them to see the truth. And again, you have to question why he's behaving the way that he is with this girl. My thing is that sometimes when it comes with Dave and Lauren, because I've seen this when they met Lauren's mum, Lauren will literally save face. She will make sure that things are still on a positive, even keel, and still won't throw Dave under that proverbial bus at the end of the day. She will literally make things float under the radar, but won't say what she means out loud, but will be sarcastic in her comebacks when she's in front of other people, which I don't think she should be. She should be direct and honest in regards to the friends, and that it's not fucking working between them right about now because of this current situation. But she won't do that. She's literally trying to make Dave seem like he's a motherfucking saint when he ain't. And the perfect example for this is when Dave and Lauren are talking, and they're talking about how they have these discussions and these conversations around the situation that Lauren's mum is talking about, which shocked me to hell and back, because Dave is a raw liar. He's been running for his life, and while he's been running, Lauren has been trying to get him to communicate with her. They don't communicate. This whole meeting, I'ma have to say, had me nauseated, like proper had me nauseated, because they were both trying to put on this united front, which is an absolute and utter freaking lie. As again, I really don't see these two together at all, and I do know that the weddings have come up, and I'm getting to the point of the weddings right now within watching Love is Blind. So all of this at the moment is literally like coming as it comes. So this is all predictions in my mind, where I'm saying that these two is a no-no, like literally a no-no. So then we see Tyler and Daniel. They have a date at Put Put. Can't really say too much about them two. Their date was good overall, and they are fantastic together. As I said, I do see these two getting married, and I see that these two will be the only ones to freaking tie the knot, to be honest with you. So then we go back to Virginia and Devin, and they talk about the meetup with her mum, and like they discuss that it went really well. Devin says that he's in a good place with Virginia, and she feels the same way too. He does go and say to her, like, if you ever feel in a space where he's being disrespectful and not valuing her like feelings, he wishes for her to tell him, so there are no miscommunications. My thing is if you are in tune with the person that you are meant to be with, then you will have an understanding that something is going on with them, so you can then have those conversations with them to be able to fill in the gap. I think it's kind of, I'm gonna say, a bit weird that you wait for your partner to say, like, I feel disrespected by you, I feel that you are undervaluing me as a person. Yeah, it shouldn't take them having to say something for you to then try and step into the gap to try and fix that, because by then it's already too late. I would say you need to be self-aware of what is going on within your partnership anyway, and then be able to fill that gap in and say, you know what, I'm not doing what I should be doing here. Let me just check in with my partner to see if they feel the same thing and how things are going that way. Not wait until it gets to that point that your partner literally has to say something, because it will take time before your partner turns around and pulls your ass up for you not doing something that they're expecting you to do. So Virginia says that she wants to feel love in action. And that's the thing with Devin, because Devin is talk, but not much action. That's what I'm seeing at the end of the day. So Devin does ask her, like, you know, does she feel like his action now? And she says that she does. And I'm like, well, why are you bringing it up then? Because at the end of the day, it's a non-issue, innit? So they do talk about it a lot. And sometimes, I ain't gonna lie when I say this, that when them two chat, I do sometimes switch off. Like, because sometimes it's a lot of gush and mush and there's nothing beyond that. They're not really digging deep into some situations. They have talked about like finances and certain things, but it's not been dug deep at the end of the day. So Virginia says to him, because they're both in bed, like, we only have 2 weeks, ask me the hard questions. She says, what makes you feel you'll be mad enough in order, like, you know, either to kick her out or sleep in another bed? And Devin says that he feels that they've had the conversations around this and that they've agreed on them. So then Virginia talks about politics. Devin says he doesn't have a strong stance on it. So Virginia said, I usually vote Democratic, but she votes anyway because she knows that the system is flawed. So Virginia talks about how her faith aligns with her votes, and she talks about being Christians and those that are Christian but with conservative views. And she highlights the fact that she thinks people should have abortion rights and that gay people should have rights too. I'm just like, the way that Devin reacted to this conversation, because the questions that Devin was asking, were literally to find out for himself whether it can be an issue or like a hard line for Virginia. Because I got the sneakiest impression very quickly that this man voted for Trump. Let me just put it that way, that this man voted against his best interests. Being a black man himself, bearing in mind he has a black father, and, you know, bearing in mind that he himself and his sister are black presenting mixed children, and he voted for that one. So he was a little bit, how can I say it? He wasn't very forthcoming in this conversation, where he's very vocal in other conversations. This one, Devin, was not very forthcoming, and it was rather telling. So he's saying it should be like, when it comes to abortion rules, it should be both the man and the woman who decides on what happens. I would say Devin is very limited in his view, in my opinion, but we shall continue. So this is where I was kind of side-eyeing Devin, as Virginia asked him, like, you know, we are in alignment on that, but overall, it's a woman's body, so she should make the choice as to whether she should do this thing or not do this thing at the end of the day. So she asked Devin, will we be voting the same at the polls? All Devin had to do was say yes. As to vote differently would be voting against your best interests, and also his father's best interests at the end of the day, and his sister's best interests. Do you know what I mean? All of the melanated people's best interests. So Devin said, if we voted differently, what would that mean to you? And this is where I said this is rather telling, because my thing is, it's a yes or no answer. Do you know what I mean? Then you could have that conversation, alright? So Virginia did kind of say, like, you know, I would be okay with it, but then they would have to talk about it. And she said it would be rather alarming if he was on a different end of the spectrum. And this is what told me this man voted for Trump, like fully voted for Trump, because this man turned around and said that his whole family votes Republican. Devon used the old age excuse of, like, we voted for them because it goes with their teachings of religion. And I said, just thought, thank God Brittany decided to step away from this man, because Devon, I believe, has some fucking full-on convoluted views. That's why he couldn't accept Brittany as she was, as being bisexual, in regards to her, like, healthy view of women and healthy view of men. That's why Devon could not compartmentalize, what the fuck is the word, couldn't separate the both. Basically, he couldn't do it because of how his views aligned, especially if your whole family is a Republican voting household. Virginia got it that, you know, being black and voting that way was not good. She didn't say it outright, but it was there. I don't think either one of them liked that conversation, and it made Devon feel so fully uncomfortable. But which he should do, because he need to think about the way that he voted, especially the way that his family votes, and the freaking policies that the people that he's voting for are putting out there, especially when it's detrimental to your own self-well-being. Do you know what I mean? That's how I know this man voted that way. This man voted that way. And then it's the fact that he turned around, even though Virginia highlighted the plights in terms of black people, and especially them voting that way, that he turned around and he says in response, well, my daddy's black. No, your daddy may be black, but he's assimilated basically into the environment that they want black people to assimilate into. Let's just put it that way. That's how I'm going to say it. I ain't going to get delved deep into it, but that's how I'm seeing it at the end of the day. His dad has assimilated. His proximity to whiteness has made him to assimilate into the lifestyle that he wants it to be. So his vote is going to reflect that assimilation at the end of the day. But that, I ain't going any further than that. That's all I'm going to say. So then we see Sarah and Ben, and they meet Lisa and Kelsey, which Lisa is Sarah's sister, her lesbian sister, and Kelsey is her partner. Let's just put it this way. Sarah and Ben, well, more so Sarah, talks a mile a freaking minute in this meeting. It's like she is trying to convince her sister and Kelsey, like, you know, that her and Ben are meant to be together, and I'm convincing you of this. I need you to be on board with me. That's how it's coming across at the end of the day. They do get into the God talk, and I swear, Sarah just talks so fast. Like, she literally is, she's like on a treadmill powering up that hill. She does not let up. And half the time I was finding it hard to catch exactly what it is that she was freaking saying, because she was going so fast. I'm not going to go fully into this meetup except to pick up, like, you know, bits and pieces. But as I said, I've already said, these two, I don't see being together at the end of the day, because their views and their values do not align. Like, seriously do not align. And those will be fundamental issues for them too at the end of the day. So Sarah brought up, like, you know, going to the church aspect, and she will feel if she goes to church, if it's not for her, and then make the decision as she done. She then highlights, like, you know, if they had a child that was LGBTQIA, although Sarah keeps on saying, and it was peeving me off, the just LGBT, where's the rest of it? Do you know what I mean? There's a whole other community there that you are literally leaving off of that as well. So she highlights, like, you know, the acceptance, and Kelsey basically turned and jumped on that and said, like, you know, she hates the word acceptance, as there is nothing to accept. We are who we are at the end of the day. She doesn't care if people accept her or not at the end of the day. She's there, she's existing, she's a human. This is who she is. Either you like it or you don't. If you don't, piss off. Do you know what I mean? Kelsey ends up getting deep when she said to them that they need to have more conversations about politics, as Ben is in a different privileged bucket than she is in. And I said, that's so true, because Ben cannot fully align with Sarah's view because their experiences are going to be different. And this is why I said that Sarah can't sit there and say that they align in their views and not opposed in their views and their values, because they literally are. So you see that Lisa is a listener, I would say, engages people, and Kelsey, out of their relationship, is a talker and makes a lot of valid points. So this is where Ben goes up and decides to go for a drink and leave Sarah and her family to talk. So they are literally struggling in regards to this experience with Sarah, because, you know, they understand that they're not going through this process. They won't have a cat in house chance of understanding what this process is for Sarah at the end of the day. So Sarah is looking for their blessing. I don't necessarily think that they like Ben for Sarah. And Kelsey, I know she knows Sarah, but she doesn't, in my opinion, talk down to Sarah when she's talking about her views. And I do think throughout the conversation that Sarah does get kind of defensive and gets her back up. Lisa just continues to look on. She doesn't really say much at this moment in time, but I do know that when she does say something, Sarah will definitely think about it and have that hand considering exactly what her sister has said to her. I do think throughout that meeting that Sarah was trying her best to convince them to like Ben. Sarah was able to say that she liked and she loves Ben, but Lisa does caution her and says, like, you know, but is it real though for right now? Is it going to happen for right now? Is that person going to be your forever and life partner for right now? She has to look at the grand scheme of things and everything in order to make that marriage work. So you see that Lauren and Dave are out bowling. I think Dave is a little awkward during some of that date. They are talking about the meetup with the Pod Squad girls, and some of the things that they've heard too. I'm gonna have to say that these two were getting on my tits. I ain't gonna lie, because I don't understand why this whole situation has become this big thing. Like, seriously, Dave says he feels bad about his sister, and he doesn't believe that it would continue or he would stay. Dave has led her to believe that he wasn't going to stay. That's what he led his sister to believe, that he was not going to stay after the dates and everything like that. He led his sister to believe that he wouldn't even get engaged to this person, but he did, and now he's literally got the backup of everybody. I told you that I believe that Dave was feeding false information to his friends and his sister. This man ain't righted. He ain't righted at all. So now apparently his sister has high expectations of him, and his sister wanted to know why Dave lied to her in regards to getting engaged to Lauren. Because that's what Dave does, apparently. He likes to lie. This man can't even fight for what he says he wants. And I swear, if Lauren literally listens to all of this fucking rubbish that comes out of this man's mouth and continues to fight to stay there, there's no helping her at this point. Like, literally no helping her at this point. So Lauren keeps thinking their relationship will get better, and when his sister and friends meet her, and I was like, Lauren, this man is not going to let you meet his family. He's not going to let you meet his friends first and foremost, because that would be the easiest thing to do. But Dave is making sure that they are staying separated as far as possible. So I don't understand where she thinks that this meeting them is going to help the relationship, because I really don't think it would. Like, necessarily don't think it would. So Dave tries to make it about him again. So he talks about, after I talked to your dad, that really put stress on it for myself. And I was like, come on, man. Like, seriously, at this point, this man is just fucking glass. Do you know what I mean? Now he's taking the living piss with this shit. None of Dave's friends or his sister wish to meet Lauren. If what Dave says is true, All he can think about is that, and that is what I call deflection on a real hype thing, man. Ben. Dave is so good at deflecting shit and trying to make himself look like the victim of everything that's going on, that everything is happening to him, when he's the one pulling all the freaking strings like a master puppeteer behind the scenes. So Lauren said, well, basically it's a lot for me to handle as well, because, you know, your sister doesn't want to meet me. And you know what this man said in response? She just says, just like my family don't want to meet just anyone. And I'm just like, meet just anyone? Meet just anyone, mate? This is your fiance you're talking about? Lauren is not just anyone. Then he turned around and tacked on, I don't want to waste my sister's time either. I thought, my God, Lauren, seriously, in the face of that, and you still want to try with this man? You're mossy mad. You're mossy mad. So Lauren literally wanted to have this serious conversation, and Dave didn't want to have the conversation in the bowling hall and wanted to go somewhere. I was like, I don't understand why this man can't give an answer to anything. And at that point, I was like, you know, Lauren, you need to run. You need to leave that man alone. He's not for one for turning. He ain't for one for trying. At the end of the day, you need to go. Cut that fucking bait hook and say, do you know what? I'm done. I'm absolutely done, because this man is literally going to keep piling trash upon this woman, yeah, and keep trying to play himself off like he's the victim, he's the hard done by one. But anyway, that's where that episode ended. I'll be back in quick succession with the next episode. As I always ask, please hit that subscribe button, please hit that notification button when you know I'm doing videos. Please comment, like, share, and do the good things that you do, because I continue to be on the road to 1K.